All right. I don't know how long I'm going to take to do this, um, but I just wanted to set an intention. So I'm just getting set up here. Um, and then what I'll do, what I'll be doing is it's kind of like an unboxing, I guess. I have this package which I received from an organization on in Canada. Anyone can visit the website. Anyone is free to also become a champion. So I'm gonna get I don't know if I can. I wonder if I can. I'm just learning this too, so bear with me here. Is it too late to? I could invite people, I guess, or well, we'll see. We'll see who shows up. We'll see if people want to join in on the conversation. I'm also happy that if people want to just be on the chat or whatever, that's also fine. But this is essentially tomorrow. If you go to a website called buddyup.ca, tomorrow they're launching their campaign. So it goes from February the 17th to the 22nd. One of the labels I have for myself is I'm a Buddy Up champion. And the campaign is called Lift Up Acts of Kindness. And the idea is that kindness drives connection, and that this week, during that time, doing something thoughtful for a buddy or for other people in our life is the activity. It's a tangible way to show them that you care and that you're there for them when they need you. So what happens is that we're often invited to just think about doing something thoughtful. And so they say, like, writing a note to a buddy, volunteering for a charity, so maybe donating to the food bank or spending time bringing snacks into work for other people. And then it's pretty cool because the campaign, like, and if you follow them, there's different people from all across Canada, and I think they actually have participants from everywhere who pitch in and also do it. So kindness and connection are life-saving. Research has found that those who receive caring letters following a suicide attempt, for example, are less likely to reattempt than those who didn't. So a seemingly small gesture of connection can be really life-saving. So I'm about to open up the package. So I've been a Buddy Up champ, and a while back, what I did was they have like swag and stuff that anybody who experiences. Hey, good to see you. That's my friend Adolphin. Let me know if you want to get in on this, my friend, because I have, maybe I can meet up with you, give you some of these to hand out. But I'm going to open up this package because I am a Buddy Up champion, which just means that if people, especially guys, right, if they aren't feeling well, or maybe they're harming themselves, or maybe they're acting out or harming each other, maybe they have thoughts or emotions or a history of, or maybe we're worried about people. These are tools. This is a way to intentionally say, we'll drop all the things. Let's just talk it out, right? So I'm going to open this up. Yeah, it's been a long time. My friend Alex, you'll see in the chat there, he knows a secret about me, which is that I'm a sucker for breakfast. So if you ever want to set a trap for me, put out some brunch type things, and then let's shoot the shish kebab, so to speak. I love me some swag. I love me some free stuff. Can you guess what this is? It looks like it's wrapped for my protection. But welcome everyone. So it's called the Lift Up Acts of Kindness. And I'm a BuddyUp.ca champion. So, and see the little fist bump? So if you go to BuddyUp.ca, you'll see where this is something that they've put together. I just signed up. See, thank you. I just signed up to be a champion. Why? Because I have survived for well over 40 years now. There's been times in my life where the going got tough, and I thought, well, I might as well get going. And, sometimes in life we get those ideas from ourselves. Sometimes people will give us those ideas. But if you're just tuning in, I'm unpackaging a plan. So this, if you've ever thought you smell, these things are wicked. So this is an air freshener. And I have them in my truck. I keep them on hand. And these are a really great way of, my goal is to hand these out or send them out. So if you know somebody who could use the message like, hey, we can talk about our feelings, we can talk to each other, our happiness, our peace, our safety is what's important. If you know somebody that would like a little visit from me or a little note of encouragement, so I have a whole whack of those. This is pretty cool too. So I'm probably going to be doing I'll be going around and leaving some of these cards. So if you know people who are maybe going through some stuff, I'd be happy to drop off one of these or some of this, or I usually kind of tie it in with each other. But this card essentially says, are you worried about a buddy? Buddy Up for men's suicide prevention. So buddyup.ca. Help is available. So you'll hear from me always. And for 100,000 years so far, that's maybe an exaggeration on my part. But there's 988. I used to use Kids Help Phone in Canada as a kid. And so the power of having people who are peer supporters and who are of lived experience is quite powerful. And so when I learned about an organization in the US called NAMI, and that there were peers that were working on a crisis hotline or helpline that would steer people away from traditional emergencies, I knew that that was something I had to get behind. So 988, if you call or text anywhere in North America, you get connected with people who are in a professional role, but they're trained peer supporters. I encourage you to be kind to them, because when we do peer support, when we're in peer recovery, when we're learning those skills, they really are skills that are meant to be able to connect with the humanity in each other. And when people are contacting crisis care, they need help. They need crisis care. So it isn't about us being a hero and getting out there and rescuing. It's about being a part of, right? Being just in it. So I encourage anybody. 988 is also expanded in the sense that if you're worried about somebody else, and the idea is that they work in collaboration with first responders. So the idea is that if somebody's having a physical crisis, an emergency that is involving their physical health, of course we would want to call 911. And if anybody's ever afraid at any point in time, even if it is just an emotional wellness thing, please don't hesitate to call any number, any emergency, any supporter that you have. What 988 offers, though, is it offers where it's like a bridge. It's like the crisis to dispatch the people who can help the emotional health piece and can help support people who are experiencing it vicariously, right? You don't have to be in crisis to connect with the info. I'm not getting paid for any of this. I'm just letting you know the sort of foundation to the practice and why I'll be sort of handing these out, leaving them out, popping them into places. So this card says, are you worried about a buddy? And I am worried about buddies because 75% of completed cases, completed scenarios are men. And they're men aged anywhere from 10 and up. And it's complex, okay? So again, it's not to compete or to compare. It's not to say this over that. It's to say that men as well deserve and need support. Men, it's even more complex because what tends to happen is that men tend to act out or get into behaviors that are more about physicality. So they'll wear their bodies down, they'll overwork themselves, their emotions usually get tied into punching a wall, throwing a thing, so all of this is just to be like, okay, how do we address that? How do we go into it hopefully with an open mind? So if you have people in your world who are guys, right? And this week, if you're a little worried about them, feel free to slip into my DMs. Feel free to look at my socials anywhere and everywhere, and if you find my email or whatever, and we can find ways to bridge them over. I'm not here to rescue or lead anybody into. I'm a hippie who has lived experience, who is a buddy up champion. I can talk and listen with people all the time. I'm really good at extraordinary circumstances. People often wonder, how the heck do I keep myself composed while men or people are in crisis. That is practice, it's skills, but that's also like those things eventually can lead to connecting to the professionals who are like at 988, right? And so the key too is that historically for everybody, we're at a point and a turning point in life where, really our complex stories are more complex than what is necessarily captured, right, in books, captured in research and all that. So if you or somebody you know is going through extraordinary circumstances, it's really actually worth reaching out to see what's now, what's here, what's now. Because in the last 5 years, my gosh, so many resources and tools. Visit the website and you can sign up too. There's all sorts of free information and training. But there we go. So this is in part through the Canadian Mental Health Association of Alberta and the Center for Prevention, Suicide Prevention. Okay. And it says, number 1, pay attention. Any noticeable change in your friend's behavior is a warning sign. Not texting or calling as much, being more irritable and angry, talking about how much life sucks. Now, keep in mind, people might be like this all the time. So this isn't to also turn you into, an investigator or, a rescuer either. But these are things that you might just consider. And then start a conversation. So you might mention the changes that you've noticed. So choose a comfortable setting over the phone, in the car, or even better, while working on a project. And ask questions and listen. So ask directly about suicide and let them know you're there for them. And stick to your role. So you're a friend, you're not a counselor. Encourage them to reach out to others, check in with them, and contact the suicide crisis helpline together. So again, contacting 988 together. You can do it online. So that's pretty cool. I got those cards. I got these like stickers, and I got these pretty cool air fresheners. These, I'm telling you right now, for a whole hot, day or two, I have like a little bit of a headache from it. It's pretty strong. But my gosh, it's so nice to just get in my truck and to feel like that freshness. I don't have the cleanest truck, but so I have more of these. I'm gonna hand these out. I'm gonna probably do some random acts of swag gifting. I got more of these. Worried about a buddy card. So we all kind of know areas where guys may show up, may just be hanging out. I'll probably stick these in washrooms. We're always looking to read stickers. Who doesn't love a sticker? Sometimes, there are people who we would love to see get help. Maybe they've gotten help 1,000 times, or maybe we've tried and tried and tried. Maybe they're pushing us away. That's okay too. So that's where we can kind of choose to learn and get tools. What else is in here? So I got a whole bunch of stickers I'm going to hand out this week. Who doesn't love a sticker? There's also these. This is pretty cool. So this is what they call a and again, am I going to get penalized or whatever for saying suicide? Because I certainly am open to talk about it, and I'm not afraid to think about it or talk about it or explore it or process it, right? Because the whole idea is that we all, get to be safe, get to be healthy, happy, and connected. So, but this is a toolkit, and it's a prevention toolkit. And it pretty well just says what it is, right? So I don't think we should necessarily shy away from being able to just use the words. I definitely ask directly, like, are you at harm? I have many years experience of talking and listening to people, and I have experience of losing folks, like in my family, in my circles. Definitely am aware of it as we see it in the news and around us. Definitely understand the threat of it, but I have never ever had somebody who had reached out for help who ended up leaving us. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. That's why it's like, even people who feel or seem maybe so far gone, they're not so far gone for me. I can understand and embrace how things are weird and emotional and all that, as long as we're both safe, right? So this is a great toolkit. So in it, it has what to expect, stats, warning signs, how to talk to somebody you're worried about, risk and protective factors, the gender paradox, dangerous masculinity. Ooh. How can it be prevented in men? What can men do? Programs, recommended reading, and references. So middle-aged men, 45 to 64, all right, they die by ending their lives more than anyone else, including young people and women. So I'm 49, so you can imagine that I want people between 45 and 64. So men are often socialized not to talk about their emotions, and therefore men as a group may mask their stress and deal with emotional pain through harmful behaviors and actions. And sometimes the big S, suicide, instead of seeking help. So there's like statistics. Now, if you're caught up in your feelings and you are one of the people like me who've had those sort of thoughts or feelings or actions or reactions or experiences within our circle, reading these things might lead you down to be feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is just confirming and affirming everything that I thought. Well, don't let it do that, because it's not about making it seem scary or affirming that it's a big issue, right? What we're talking about here is what it can become. And so this is about those acts of kindness. It's about, so I read sort of some key tips in the little card that if you're worried about somebody, but this kind of expands on that a little bit. So pay attention, start a conversation, keep it going, and stick to your role. So again, like whenever I have people, I'm just going to tell you, if somebody comes in and they see that I'm under the weather, they see I'm not feeling great, there's so many people who just want to, like, they want to channel their own Tony Robbins or their own Oprah or their own Rescue 911, right? They come in like a wrecking ball wanting to do all the things. That's natural. That's kind of, when we feel intense and we really want a good outcome, but we don't need to do that, right? We can literally just be ourselves. So there are ways that we can catch folks even before warning signs. if somebody's had a long-standing relationship with these things or challenges, we can also approach that, right? So there's the gender paradox I was talking about. So men die by suicide more than women, so 3 times more. But women actually attempt it more than men, so 1.5 to 2 times more often. So there's several reasons for it. Men often use more lethal means of it than women. I'm just being mindful. I'm not afraid of the word. I'm new to the TikTok. So I think I don't want to like trigger certain whatevers, right? But when I'm speaking to people, I definitely don't shy away from the word. Men are less likely than women to seek help when they're struggling, and men are subject to the expectation that they will persevere through adverse situations, or that they will follow through on decisions, including following through with their attempt or whatever, and to get it done. So a man who's already feeling inadequate or less than a man because of these thoughts is not only not going to seek help, but also make sure he gets it done right, so to speak. And so that's why, again, it's like, I'm happy to hand out some stickers. I'm happy to hand out some air fresheners and cards, because often it's not like, it doesn't have to be a huge production. It doesn't have to be about it, right? It's like, this idea is these are just the acts of kindness. I talk to guys all the time. We have a wonderful connection that way. Even more so when they share their true feelings, because often it's honestly that thing where it's like holding in a fart, but then it's also that thing where we can't assume that we haven't tried to talk about it, or that we haven't tried to be heard, or that they haven't reached out to us, right? So that's the whole point too. Masculinity and suicide. So we know that these are big, the idea of masculinity and toxic masculinity, like these are some big trigger points for people. This says Canadian society celebrates masculine qualities, and why not? There's much to be celebrated. However, sometimes these qualities can overwhelm and consume the men they define. So masculine qualities, like feminine qualities, are neither positive nor negative in and of themselves, but the expectations they attract and the way they shape a person's behavior can affect the person's well-being. So from an early age, for example, boys are often told to hold back their tears, and men are told to suck it up when dealing with life's pressures. Take it like a man. Toughness and stoicism are expected. Emotional vulnerability is seen as a blemish on their manhood, and these societal expectations may discourage men from seeking help when they encounter mental health issues or adversities, and instead can drive them to destructive coping strategies. So this can put men at greater risk for increased substance use, risk-taking behaviors, anger and frustration, and too often the big S, right? Ending themselves. And then again, it kind of goes into how it can be prevented. There's a bunch of reading and reference material. So there's some Stats Canada stuff in here, Men in Depression, Canadian Family Physician stuff, Public Health Agency, etc. But like more latest info, so not like the old stuff, not the old crap we've kind of heard maybe. There's actually much, much, much more. Now, don't listen to me. This is Canadian Mental Health Association, all the way out there. I think this is Alberta. So that's how I support Alberta too, because I know Alberta. Oh my goodness. There's some exciting life stories coming out of Alberta. They sure have a sense of imagination. So I can imagine that might be a challenge. Now, the other thing that came was some posters. Now, these are a little wrinkled, but I'm gonna try to put them up. I'm gonna put one in my building. I'm probably gonna put one nearby. That's pretty cool. So again, it's pretty simple, like 4 steps. Pay attention, start a conversation, keep it going, stick to your role. So that's I just thought, well, hey, I'll open that up. I got all this like swag to give away. So if you or somebody you know want to have a conversation, you want to just have an open conversation, you want to talk about ways that we can lift each other up, maybe we want to do a thing where we write nice notes to each other. Let's consider people who are incarcerated. Let's consider people who are hospitalized. Let's consider people who've survived being incarcerated and hospitalized. Let's consider people who are going through life's challenges in real time. We don't have to be clinicians. We don't have to always be assessing others. We don't always have to be saying, oh, well, this is that, and this is and that person's a narcissist, and this is ours, and I practice RAP, and family RAP is one part of that, but that's Wellness Recovery Action Planning. That's a program where we get to see what our early warning signs are, signs things are breaking down, what crisis means and looks like to us, but it's all the action plans we can do. So if this happens, then we can do that. We all have the right to live and thrive and be who we are. And you know what? There's a lot of people having some pretty big, intense conversations right now around medically assisted interventions in dying and the right to die and the right to live and all sorts and who gets to be where. In this goal, in my goal for the next February 17th to the 22nd, I'm going to be doing some acts of kindness. So if you're in the Ottawa area and you want to have some brunch or breakfast or lunch or share a can of soup, who knows? Let me know. It'd be great to get together. If you're in an organization, I have a lot of acronyms after my name, and I have a lot of experience in talking to groups of people. I have experience in helping families deal with their own wellness and others. I am what's called and considered a consumer ex-patient survivor. I live with mental health, physical health factors. We can and we do a lot each and every day. And so this is really just to take a chance and just be kind, right? Because it's through kindness where we can see and be and do something different. So again, and then if you want, I encourage you to reach out if you want to have a conversation, if this is something you're passionate about. Send me a message, and this week I'd love to even go live with you. We can coordinate it. We can invite people in to listen or to talk. If you want one of my posters, if you want some of these things to hand out and I'm nearby you, great. If you want to send me a nice note, if you want to be nice to me and be kind to me and talk nice to me, hey, feel free to do that too. I'm always open to that. If it's something that I can share, I'll be happy to share it. But I really just want to, I just really wanted to let people know that that's what I'm going to be doing. Last year, now here's the thing, okay? So this is my experience, but it's also how I'm a little bit of a weirdo. But last year, what I did was I made up posters, and I held several events. And what I do is I put the poster up and I set the intention for the event. And whether or not guys actually show up, it's irrelevant to me, because I show up for me. So I put up a poster. If I say I'm going to have a breakfast, I go for breakfast. I don't need other people to show up for me. That's the beauty of all of us, is we have it within us to be perfectly okay, right? The beauty is when we don't have to just carry that burden all of ourselves. So, last year I did a potluck. I did a breakfast, a brunch. I sent emails out. I created posters. I incorporated it into other programming that I was doing at the time. I handed out a bunch of posters. I handed out a bunch of air fresheners. 99% of the time, even in real time, it's uncomfortable to talk about the real stuff. But I'm telling you right now, if and when we stay consistent in our goal to just care about people, eventually a wall will come down, a shoulder will come down, or we'll just start to sense, we'll just sort of start to sense the change. And what I know is, as I turn 50 this year, I'm going to turn 50 next month, 6 weeks from now, roughly. I have family, I have friends, I have community, I have followers, I have readers, I have supporters, I have ideas, I have projects, and I have choices and options. And so, again, if you go to buddyup.ca, you'll see more tools. You'll see how this sort of ties into other things. There's organizations, there's workplaces, there's people who sign up as champions. And then if you follow your nose, it always knows. If you click through and you look at the organization, even if this particular program doesn't resonate with you, what I can tell you is that across Canada, coast to coast, across the USA, coast to coast, there are peers, there's supports, there's free programs, there's curriculums, there's tools, there's humans, there's activities galore. And so these are all launching points as well, where not only can we empower other people, right? So we know we want to influence people to get well and stay well, but we can actually empower ourselves. So there's so much that we can do for ourselves so that we can hold that space for other people. So I am all about the kindness. Here in Ottawa, it's amazing. Our mayor is doing a challenge. So he posts every day And I think he's going to do it for 200 days or something like this. And I think he's on day 4. But it looks like he's going to post an act of kindness or a way we can be kind to each other. This morning, and if you follow the other stuff I'm doing, I'm reading a book that inside it was talking about something that's called loving kindness, or metta with 2 T's. And loving kindness, or metta practice, is the act of just hoping for, wishing for, but intending and intentionally shifting ourselves to act in a way where we're more kind to other people, but we're also including ourselves in that. So as a guy, as a person in this lane, so to speak, really it is it starts from what is the story we tell ourselves, what is the narrative, what is the sense of hope we hold. And so that's why I say any space, like I'm not selling anybody anything. All of my following is organic on purpose. I've been blogging and showing up and talking for, oh my gosh, like in person and through organizations. I've been doing it for over 30 years now. Right? I've been doing it publicly through writing, through activism, through taking action. I've been doing that for over 30 years now. Angus by Design itself has been something that's in place for now, I think it's like 11 years officially. I think, 2013, 12 years. So I'm like, I call it death by 1,000 paper cuts or healing by 1,000 band-aids, right? But it, everything that we're talking about here, it's really about filtering away all the noise, and then how do we circle up? How do we support each other? And so for the next week, 17th to the 22nd, I'm going to be handing out cards, going to be setting them out. These are simple tools, right? If you ever heard of vague booking or passive aggression, there's also passive affirmation. So what I mean by that is that if I know there's an area where people are going through stuff, well, I'll leave out this information, right? Because it's some pretty basic, pay attention, start a conversation, ask questions, and listen. Let's use evidence and tools. Who doesn't love a sticker? I'm going to put a bunch of stickers. Who doesn't love the inappropriateness of listing? All of that, right? I'm going to do all of that. All of that can be conversation. I have posters, but I have these air fresheners, so that's my big thing. I'm going to see who can I give these air fresheners to, and if I can get some kind notes and kind thoughts and good intentions for people, then amazing. So, all right, everybody, I really want to say thanks for joining me. I didn't want to take a long time. I got to go eat. Because if you know me, I get kind of cranky if I'm hungry. I think that's why they say bring snacks, bring food. But yeah, if any of this resonates with you, if you need a little extra TLC, I want to say to any women or gender non-conforming, gender non-conforming folks. So, trans men are men, non-binary men are men. If people self-identify, then they're my buddy. I don't police other people's identities. I don't participate in being a guy or having these kind of conversations by being chauvinistic, right? I definitely understand where masculinity fits into mental and physical health. But it also ties into hormones and our hormonal response to things. So I know a lot of guys, they're dealing with, substance abuse. And substances can include any substance, medication, nicotine, alcohol, anything that changes how we think, feel, or act, right? So it isn't to exclude women, because I talk to a lot of women about the men in their lives. It's not to turn it into a debate, because what I'm talking about is how we prevent harm, how we prevent suffering, how we reach out without judgment. And so, there's many ways. Often I'm balancing the work that I do for men and the advocacy work by talking about the advocacy work that I do for women, right? So for people who are escaping abuse, escaping injustice, but these are tools where we help ourselves and we help each other recover and get better. And so that's the focus, right? The focus is the very facts that people who ask for help and receive it have better outcomes. I've seen people turn their whole lives around. And it all starts somewhere. Okay? So every redemption story starts from a challenge and being kind, acting kind, putting out a sticker, handing out a card, making something available, signing up to be a champion, and projecting kindness. It can take some heat, but it's worth it. And that's the point to this. So, all right, everyone, 47 minutes later, and I'm jabbering, but it's just a start because this launches tomorrow. So check it out. If you go to buddyup.ca, it's from February 17th to 22nd, 2026. I'm Angus Wright. I also go by Angus by Design. I love me some stickers. I love me some cards with info, some posters, and I love air fresheners. And I love that I'm going to be handing these out. I'm going to be having some conversations. So peace to you, peace to me. Let me know how this fits in your life. This last 48 minutes had 201 people show up. And so that's amazing. I hope that this just continues to grow, and I hope that we can all get the message out. And if you haven't heard of these pushes to be kind and to do kind things, then check that out too, because I think what we're seeing, especially here in Canada, coast to coast, is through resources like 988 and the Center for Suicide Prevention and the Canadian Mental Health Association, we're seeing so many people with so many amazing initiatives. And while we can feel isolated, there are so many ways that we can get out there and we can be part of something. So whether you're joining a thing or whether you're planning to start a thing, if you want to lead and you want to be a champion, go check out buddyup.ca and sign up. And there's so many ideas and ways that you can implement this into your circle. Okay? So thank you, everybody. Have a great day. I'm Angus Wright. I also go by Angus by Design. I'm on all the platforms that way. If you see something, say something. If you have questions or concerns, reach out. But please, 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 especially those of us who, like me, once upon a time, we can't always look like sweet, wonderful guys. Sometimes we come off as just total jerks and jackasses. But often it's within those jerks and jackasses that there are men who are they just need love. They just need a little extra TLC, and they need a whole bunch of room to be weird and vulnerable and authentic so that they can rebuild, put their confidence back, address what's going on, because statistically speaking, we have all the same problems that other people experience. This is about having a safe place to simply be, and to know and to hold the hope that recovery is possible. So thanks, everyone. Reach out. Be great to meet you. Great to talk to you. And I'll post this. I'll post it so it's there, and I'll probably try to make some points to either pop up randomly, or if anybody wants to organize a get-together about this, I'm happy to do that too. So all the best. Take care, everyone.